So far on Alex Builds, and despite having no building experience, I decided to build an old style barn on a massively sloping plot. I bought some stone and built a test wall, got some trees cut down, then hired a digger, with which I ruined my garden, pulled out 2 tree stumps, dug some trenches, cocked up those trenches and fixed the trenches. I built a concrete chute through which we cocked up the concrete pour which set with a slope, which we fixed by cutting loads of trench blocks and laying them to offset the slope. I then got my act together, but it snowed and rained really hard. We eventually got them all in and then filled it with 60 tonne of aggregate. We avoided another concrete cock-up by hiring a pump and then faced off the end wall, which actually looked really good. But what didn't look so good was my first attempt at the wall, so I took the whole lot out. I then laid them again and discovered I hated laying stone. Welcome back, it's episode 18 and I'm going to start this episode just like I started the last episode by saying sorry it's taken so long to get footage out. So we picked this episode up where we left off, which is what you see here, and it starts in November 2021 and it lasts, or it covers 6 months. The one after that, that's the arch, that's great by the way, that'll cover about 2 months, and then the one after that is about another 6 or 7 months. So basically a year and a quarter of effort, and I've only produced 3 episodes. And there's a reason for that. Stonework is bloody horrible and it takes a long time. Anyway, enjoy the video. Look forward to showing you all the progress. Okay, it's November the 13th and we're going to go on to what I'm going to call the second phase of the building work. And with the redesign, things are going to move a lot quicker. Well, that's the plan. A redesign, you say? Well, let me explain what I'm going on about. So in the original version, this is it here, there's a lot of stone, and specifically all of this side and up here where the cursor is all stone. And as I was laying this bottom section down here, which was done in the previous video, I just realised there was no way I was going to be able to do this on my own. And also everything you see here, here and here, it can't be seen by anyone because it's all sort of going into the wood or into the bushes or whatever. The bit we're going to see is round here. So I came up with a bit of a plan B. And this here is the most recent version. Looks similar from the front, but if we go around you can see that there is a lot less stone, particularly when you look round the back. And the way I'd achieved that is, if you look at this, bit of work in progress, a few rafters floating around in mid-air. So I'm going to do a kind of half timber. I'm going to sit the timber on top of this. So this wall where the red mouse icon is what I've basically built there, and I've built that round to here. At the point where I've entered this video, I haven't built any of this. Haven't built this here, certainly haven't built the front. I definitely haven't built an arch, but that's going to be coming up after this one. So this section here going down to somewhere near that pier, as I keep calling it, maybe incorrectly, is where we're going to be building the levels up. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So what you see here is a really quite expensive bit of ironmongery that I bought with the view to basically putting some sort of barn door on at some point. Now I'll let the video explain at the end what actually happened with this, but I went to loads of effort to set these in. It took me about 3 attempts and I've got hours of footage. I thought it was going to be a really interesting part of the video. But anyway, all will become clear, but I've left a bit of footage of me struggling for at least the first attempt here to get this piece of metal set into the side of the wall. So far I've only been working on the right hand side, so this is me getting the old tape measure out and working out exactly where the left hand side, as you look at the front of the barn, is going to go. Go. By the way, I hope you're enjoying the videos, despite my arse crack being on show. And if you could click like or subscribe, that would really help me. We're on episode 18 and there's loads more to come. Well, end of November, we had some really big storms last night. And this big oak we have here with the giant rope swing. Still windy now. But it's not small. There's a size 10 foot. Hey, maybe I could cut the oak up, dry it and use it. I doubt it. So there you go, a massive pile of really good quality blocks. Now just to be clear, I won't be using that face. That's just a bit to sit on. So that's the face that I'll be using, but by taking that slice off the top, for example, that's a really easy one to lay. And I can still rough up the edges. If you think I've got a kind of straight line, well, it doesn't look like that at all. So that's highly usable. And as you can see, I did a whole pile of them yesterday. So this afternoon, this is Saturday the 27th of November, I'm hoping I should be able to get another course down pretty quickly on this section. Couple of problems appearing on site. Basically the lime that we've been using, the damp has got to it, so it's been going in sort of with a few blobs, and the problem is where they've been near the surface, the water's got to them and they have seeped out like this. This has been worrying me, and it's done it in quite a few places and more from the top. Basically this problem's been getting worse. So first of all, I have got a fix, which is basically to store the lime in a far better way, but I have had a go at the end here. You can sort of see where it was. So really, without much effort, just a quick scrub, that came off no problem. I mean, I can easily tidy that up further. So, not good, but not a biggie. I do actually own a shed. I like all good sheds. It's a total tip. That's why I'm building a barn. So, to solve the problem of the leaky plasticizer, I'm storing this in here, and also I'm going to mix it in here as well. So, I've slightly upgraded my eye and mouth protection, and I'm basically going to pre-prepare some buckets of this stuff and then take them down on site as I need them. So now what I can do is put this on. I won't whack that down till I've got my goggles on. But the advantage of this is I can store this here. Obviously it's completely airtight, and I can just take however many mixes I want to do in a day, usually 2. I'll just take 2 of these down. So it does save me a bit of time down on site in the cold and the wet. Keep it up here. So that worked well. Probably should have stopped there. Oh dear, never mind. Anyway, talking of slight cock-ups, so this is the second attempt at this bit of ironmongery. What I've done here is I've mounted it in a bit of steel with some bars. I'm skipping over this quite quickly because all will be revealed later, but there it is. There's the latest attempt where I've cut some stone around to get it to set in. Well, how's that for a sky? And this is March the 6th, 2022. Pretty sure I did a very similar video last year, same time. So it's getting spring-like, but it's pretty cool. So the site has been creeping forward, slightly mothballed. Let's just zoom in. So where we're up to now is we've completed course 7 of this front section. Quite a bit of that has been over the last few weeks. I've got the stones in for course 8. And they're sitting on top. I'm going to mortar those in today and hopefully start course 8 on the other side. Anyway, let's go for a bit of a peek around the site. So as always with these projects, there's kind of the good, the bad and the ugly. So this is actually a reasonably good standard by my standards, right? Courses are okay, I've tidied up the mortar. Now you can see we've got this sort of fluorescence, is that what it's called? Anyway, the lime does leak out. The good news though is that that does actually come off quite easily. I did have the same problem down here and I've sorted it. Reason why that's doing that, bad storage. I've been keeping the lime in the shed. It's not good enough. You still get lumps in it. The damp, even when the bag isn't open, damp just gets to it. So, you know, it comes out and it leaches out. So there you go, that needs tidying, and I'm going to try and improve that as I go along. So that's sort of the standard we're working to, but it's not all quite there. I'll show you. So this is the same wall, just further back on the inside, and this shows you what we're dealing with. Okay, you've got the same problem here, but this is what it looked like before I tidied it up. It's an absolute mess, all right, I know. So this is the kind of joint quality, lots of bits sort of hanging around, but this is what we'll clean up. Also, when you look at the outside of it as well, that, you know, it's just got a bit better, it's got a bit more even, you know, it's not as good down the bottom. This is actually before I started cutting the blocks a little bit to make them that bit more even. Anyway, this kind of sets a standard which is not brilliant, but as you've seen on the other wall, it kind of cleans up okay. And by the time we come to do a final, you know, a final version of it, I mean, we really will scrub this down and do the joints or whatever. So I'm kind of confident that just about okay. This, however, not so good. Very uneven blocks. I mean, this is when I've kind of started improving my work on the joints, you can see. Again, I know it needs tidying up, but this stuff here is just rough. And the lime's coming out through it. I think I'm actually going to have to kind of hack some of that out and actually properly rejoint that stuff. It's that bad. Okay, but you know, live and learn, right? First time I've done that, you see the improvement. And I'm glad I've got to what I'd sort of call a reasonable, in my opinion, standard, you know, before I've made my way up. Particularly on the stuff that's going to be on the outer side that I'm going to see all the time. So, getting there. So we're on course 7. Course 7 is a metre, basically. The arch is going to start spanning at about, I think, 175, so maybe 180. So basically, that's my height. I've got to take this section up. So this is just like another slog. It's hard work, it's boring, it doesn't create much good footage either. Another of the reasons why I've held back on releasing footage. I haven't got much to show. So I want to get that up to there, then tidy the joints, and then we'll start on the arch. And I'm hoping, well, realistically, it's going to be another 2 months, I think, unless I can really, really crack on at the weekends, which I'm going to try and do. Okay, so we've made some progress. It's Monday the 18th of April, it's a bank holiday here in the UK, and we're fully up to course 11. This is this one here. This goes all the way around in this front section. Just started 12. 13 is a big milestone because the arch will start on top of that, and we're going to feature that in the next full video. So basically this is a story in slightly improving quality. This is the stuff I did at the bottom, where first of all I just wasn't doing it very well. And also I haven't tidied this up yet, which I will do. But as you continue up, you can see, look, it's not perfect, but you can see there's a real improvement, you know, as we go up. And also just the way that I've been cutting the blocks, making them a bit more even. So there's a slight disparity between the bottom and the top, but again, I think that'll tidy up okay. The other little change is after all that palaver with a video of putting the ironmongery in, notice there's not one at the top. Well, my friend Phil is a viewer, hello Phil, came round and said, "Oh, you're going to do a wooden frame?" I hate to admit it, he's right. Why wouldn't I do a wooden frame? Particularly as I'm going to have a wooden form for the arch, so I've already got a guide to cut from. So I thought afterwards, when I come to order the oak, that's in about 2-3 videos time, then I'm going to get the right type of oak, and I am going to do a wooden frame. So complete waste of time and all that. I'm going to end up probably cutting that out. Hey ho. So what I'm doing here is, you can see I've got course 12 at the top, a couple of blocks in there. I'm going to carry on course 12, but I'm going to take it just up to this corner here and take it round no further. And course 13, I'm probably only going to take about really halfway down towards this corner. The reason why there's twofold is that when you come to do the courses on the arch, if you think about it, they're only very short courses, because you're only dealing with a tiny bit of the width just onto the arch itself. And the thing is, I don't want to start laying lots of courses one on top of the other while the mortar's still wet, because this is a very thick mortar bed, and what will happen is it will just get pushed down. So by leaving myself a load more work to do around here, as I kind of like loop over the arch on these little small courses, I can just use the mortar and keep going out. Second reason is, I just really want to get cracking on the arch. I'm looking forward to it. One of the problems I've had this time is that the stone has just not been as good as last time. I have raised it at the quarry, I don't think they agree with me. But again, it's not a bust up, it just sort of depends how you're using it, I suppose. I'll show you. So when we look at this bag here, I mean, the pieces are a lot smaller, and that's okay, I can kind of live with that, although in the previous lots it's been a lot more varied, and I have to say it varies bag by bag. And you sort of end up with pieces like this, and this is kind of workable. I mean, what you're looking for is a face. But the thing is, in my view, although you could say that's a face, it's not squared off. And again, at least this one though has got a right angle, so you can sit it on that bed there. But what you got a lot of is this. And it's just, again, this is where we can disagree. I mean, theoretically I could use that face. And again, it's not too bad, but it's just full of this type of stuff. I mean, there is a certain amount of waste you'd expect, but it's getting harder and harder, and then we just get sort of stuff like this. Just is not a usable face on that one. And again, you could say that one there, but look at the angle it's cut at. Can't sit that on anything. So it's been hard work. I'm not looking for perfectly square ones. I mean, get this here, and that's got a, you see it's got an angle on it, but absolutely use that face, no problem at all. And occasionally, you get some really, really good ones as well. But, again, a lot of curved stuff. I mean, again, I can work this, but what I'm tending to do is take that face, getting the saw out and cutting it, which is alright, but it's just a bit more time consuming. Okay, so up to course 12, and I've got to do one more course, and I'll just do this section here, and we're ready to start the arch. Cleaned up the jointing, I had the pressure washer on the face just to get the excess stuff off. Gave the joints just a tiny bit more of a rub just to smooth them out, but look good. I like the stone, I like the variety of colours dotted around within it. I think it looks good. Feels like a right chunk as well, I have to say. Big old thing this. So this is now getting quite satisfying, and you can probably hear and see springs here as well, so it's nice. Okay, maybe you've not been waiting for it, but believe me, I have for absolutely months to get to this point. So it's built, the footage is done, and I will be releasing episode 19 in the next few weeks. It's not one to miss. See you next time.